Fighting and being healthy is so much more than just going to the gym and putting in the workouts. There's all that other stuff, the sleep, fueling your body correctly. That's what we're talking about today. We're talking about the 5 foods that I eat the most. And I've been eating these consistently now for probably the last 20 years. I feel like my body is always ready to continue pushing forward, and I want to share with you today what my 5 favorite foods are. So I was just at a seminar over the weekend. At the very beginning of pretty much every seminar, I stress one thing to everybody. Anybody can come in and teach you guys push-ups, front kick technique, all the basics, but not everybody can offer you insight into a fighter's mind. This is what I always wanted when I was younger. I wanted to have the ability to sit down with Avocado, Masato, Albert Kraus, Andy Sauer, high-level boxers and just go, what are you eating? What's your workout routine? How hard are you training? Like all these intricate little questions. So I told them, ask me anything, open up. Like I will just give you what you need to know. So I'm giving you guys just a little bit of that today because of course you guys have your favorite foods, but what I'm eating seems to be working really, really well for me. It allows me to keep going forward. And I would say, and I'm not lying here, these 5 foods probably make up about 30 or 40% of my diet. And yes, that might sound boring, but I feel great when I have them. So let's jump right in to number 1 food, which I consume the most. And that is avocado and rice crackers. These are something which I have eaten pretty much every day for like the last 20 years. I take an avocado, which is great for the style or the type of fats that it has in it. The rice crackers are just something that I really like. You know, I check the ingredients, make sure everything is clean. A little bit of Himalayan salt on an avocado that is mashed up with some crunchy crackers. And I don't know why I like it so much, but I just do. And if you're looking to be training really hard, you're gonna be burning lots of fat. My fat content is crazy low, so I'm not worried about putting on extra weight in fat. For me, it works great. And I just absolutely love this combo of foods. I know a lot of people out there have trouble choosing good avocados. They go, every time I pick them, they're masked up, you know, they're brown, they're stringy. Go to the right grocery store. Some places have mediocre ones, some places have fantastic ones. If you find a grocery store that stocks good avocados, you are set. Number 2, again, something that I have pretty much every single day is a smoothie. Now I know a lot of people are going, oh, I have smoothies all the time. That's not very exciting, but I'm gonna give you a tip to make them fantastic. Now, sometimes I will put protein powder into my smoothies. In a future episode, I will talk about the specific protein powder which I am utilizing, but the trick to make them so darn good, and even low in calories if you want, is freeze your bananas. I don't know if you've tried this, but a frozen banana, if you have to kind of peel it with a knife because the outside, the peel, is frozen. But once you get that off and you cut a little piece of frozen banana, it's kind of like ice cream. When you whip it up in a blender, oh my gosh, it's amazing. And then you add some blueberries, a little bit of water, some ice, and it is spectacular. The trick is to make sure you blend it with minimal amount of water so it comes out super thick. I've had times, it takes a little longer to do that because you add a little bit too little water and you put a little more in, but I've had times where I've been able to take my smoothie, flip it upside down like a Dairy Queen Blizzard, I think, and put it back and nothing comes out. And I'm just making that, healthy ice cream essentially. And you can do loads of other versions. You don't have to do just banana and just blueberries, but for me, that is what I absolutely love. Again, avocado and crackers and smoothie pretty much every single day for me. The next thing which I consume like crazy is cottage cheese in cantaloupe. Some of you guys might be going, oh, that's crazy weird. Actually, when I was in Italy, one of the things which was on the menu all the time was cantaloupe and prosciutto. That's sweet and salty. I wasn't as big a fan of that as I am with the cottage cheese and the cantaloupe. But this is something, I'm not even kidding you, that my parents told me I've been eating since I was about whatever the age is where you start eating solid food. 1-year-old, 14 months, I don't even know what it is, but they said I used to sit down, they'd try to give me other food, I would eat cottage cheese and cantaloupe. Next meal, cottage cheese and cantaloupe. I'm still eating it. If you don't like cantaloupe or it's not in season or you get tired of waiting for it to ripen, you can do cottage cheese and apples or cottage cheese and grapes, but that's something that I love. And it just tastes so good. Get that protein, get something like an apple, which is just a little sweet, makes it seem a little dessert-y, sort of, maybe. And number 3 for me is that cantaloupe with the cottage cheese. The next thing which I consume a lot, whether at a restaurant, but I go to less restaurants now than I used to because I'm a little concerned about the ingredients they use. More at home for me now is sushi. And I'm not actually rolling the sushi because that's a very time-oriented process and I'm not an expert at it. I've done it a few times, but I actually do sushi bowls. I'll actually put a link up there. I've done a video a couple years ago during the pandemic in the middle of it on how to make it. Bellator asked me to put that video together. Sometimes I'll do sushi cones. So just a little bit of white rice, you just put it down on a little seaweed square, just a square piece of seaweed, and then just a little bit of tuna, some spicy mayo, whatever vegetables you want. You just roll it up, you eat it, you make another one. Love it. Absolutely love it. I switch between tuna, shrimp, or salmon for my proteins. And again, that's something that I will eat 3 or 4 times a week in the evening. My wife rolls her eyes at me. She's like, let's try something new. And I'm like, no, this is what's working for me. This is what I want. You can make your own thing if you don't want it, but I'm having this. And the final thing, number 5, which I consume for breakfast so often and sometimes post-training in the evening when I don't feel like making a full dinner, is my pancakes. I have talked about these pancakes before on the channel, promised you guys a proper video. These pancakes are not filled up with flour. These are healthy ones. You do half a cup of oats, 2 egg whites, a scoop of yogurt, a little banana, half a banana diced up, and a handful of blueberries. And if you're outside of fight camp and you want to make it super fun, you can throw in a few little chocolate chips, mix it all together, pan fry it, super fast, super healthy, and you can put protein powder in that too if you want a little bit more protein than the egg whites. Again, I will probably have this, not every day, but probably 2 or 3 times per week. Overall, that's consuming the same amount of food quite frequently, but I still have, 50% of my diet, which is not anything I mentioned today, and then I'll sprinkle in other things. But those 5, for me, if somebody said, gun to your head, what do you eat? What do you consume? What do you suggest for others? I would say those are my go-to. Not that you guys have to eat those, you might hate them all, but that's what I eat. And like I said in the seminar, I want to share with everybody out there what's happening in here, what's happening with this, why everything's working for me, maybe it's partially the diet, probably is, why those belts behind me came to me, hard work at the gym, for sure, lots of mental prep, for sure, diet, crazy important, because think of your body as a high performance machine, a sports car, a race car. You need to put good fuel in, otherwise you're not going to be quite as high level as you could be. So I hope everybody enjoyed this episode. I know it's not for everybody on the channel, but the people who want this information probably really appreciate it. If you do, give it a like. If you have not already, join the channel, get subscribed. And as always, guys, train hard, eat clean food, and I will see you back here soon for another video.